Good morning, everyone, and thanks for being with us today for this Nucamp open house. Together with me is Ludo Fourage. Ludo is our Chief Learning Officer.
Hello, everyone.
And I'm Karim Ludo. I'm Nucamp's CEO. We're going to spend an hour together on this webcast. We are planning to spend about 30 minutes to tell you more about Nucamp, about the programs, the boot camps, about what to expect, what you are going to be learning. Ludo will jump in as we move through the curriculum in a few minutes. And then we'll spend about 30 minutes just answering your questions. So you notice there's a chat window. Feel free to start to put your questions in so that when we move to the Q&A session, we can jump in and start answering them. So with that, let's get started. And I want to first just present Nucamp. Nucamp is the most affordable, local and flexible evenings and weekends coding bootcamp out there. We serve all of the US, and our social mission is really to help all aspiring career shifters in every community around the US to enter the digital economy. The way we do this is by focusing on offering quality web development education, not just to a few that are located in the big cities and that can afford it, but to everyone around the US, and in particular those that can't afford it today, both in big cities actually, but also in underserved cities around the country. So Nucamp started by recognizing that there were really only two available models out there, the online model and the traditional bootcamp model. So the online model is a very flexible way to learn to code. You can complete the curriculum on your rhythm, at your pace. You can do that from anywhere. You just need to be in front of a computer anywhere you like. It really costs very little. It's either free or it would cost less than $100 to go through the curriculum. The problem is it's really hard to commit to such a program and to muscle through for several weeks, several months actually, and complete the program. So we see completion rates being very, very low. Part of it is just it's hard to stay motivated, but part of it is the nature of coding is that you really need some help at some point when you're stuck. So those programs don't have the support mechanism to help you pass the obstacle as you progress in your journey to learn coding. So traditional coding bootcamps have emerged to try to fix this, and they're a great solution for those who can afford it. They're full-time programs. You actually are immersed for several months to learn to code. And so again, if you're living in an area where they're available, if you can afford it, it's a great way in a really short, condensed time with focus to learn to code and get a job. Unfortunately, it really addresses only limited number of people that can do this. So Nucamp really try to solve this big issue of people wanting to code, wanting some support, but not able to afford those traditional boot camps and not being in the right cities to go attend them. So what we do is we offer a hybrid format that allows you to continue to work while you learn coding. It's a program that is a fixed schedule. So we are making sure that you are progressing along the curriculum week after week. And it's a local program. So it's with other students in your community, with an instructor in your community, so that you're able to network and to connect and also to stay motivated at a local level. And so with this hybrid format, we are able to offer a program that's below $2,000 for the full curriculum. And that's 15% basically of the cost of the traditional programs. We have now deployed this in Washington State first, but now we're actually expanding beyond Washington State. We have 5 locations that have been running now for more than 2 years, where we've gained experience. We've really fine-tuned the curriculum, fine-tuned the delivery model. And we have now expanded and brought this program to other cities across the US starting in August. And then just recently, we started our second cohort on September 9th in 20 cities across the US. So we have instructors in place. We have workshop locations that are in place in the communities across the US to deliver this program. The next bootcamp, actually, if you're here, is starting on October 7th for the Bootstrap class, so the front-end and full stack program, and then October 14th for the web development fundamentals. Which brings me to the bootcamps we offer. We actually offer two types of bootcamps. We have an introductory bootcamp that's just a 4-week program. It's really for people who have sort of no prior knowledge of coding and want to better understand what coding is about. Just get a feel for, do they like it? Do they see themselves actually doing this for a living? Understanding the sort of the kind of career path that can be offered through coding. So it's very accessible, no prior knowledge required at all. And for only $320, you can go through this and sort of better understand whether this is something for you. And then we've got advanced boot camps. We have a front-end, a mobile development boot camp that Ludo will tell you a bit more about in detail, and then a more comprehensive boot camp that's a full stack web and mobile development boot camp. And those are 17 weeks for the first one, 22 weeks for the second one, and they actually get you job ready to go interview and get a job out there in the market as a junior web developer. So the actual format and the logistics are that during the week, you work on your own online at your pace. So you want to do it in the morning, over lunch, in the evening, doesn't matter. It's videos, exercises, instructions that you're going to go through, a portfolio project that you're going to gradually build, but also some additional resources for those of you who are going a little faster, just to offer you a chance to do more. And of course, you have the support of your instructor while you do this online during the week. So it is online, but you're still supported by an instructor if you're stuck or if you need some questions answered. And then during the week, you're also preparing for Saturday. Saturday is the milestone of progression. You meet with your instructor and your other classmates. It's a 4-hour session, very much like a study group that is facilitated by the instructor. You have a bigger assignment to go through on that Saturday, and you also are going to be working on your portfolio project. And that marks the end of that week and the learning that you've had during this week, and opens up a next session. So that way, week after week, you continue to progress through the curriculum. It's actually a lot of work, so that's another important message we want to convey to you. We are packing a pretty dense curriculum in a part-time program, so expect to be working from 1 to 3 hours per day during the week, in addition to your 4-hour workshop. But that's the price to pay to be job ready at the end. We want to make sure your experience on Saturday mornings is a pleasant, enjoyable one. I mean, you are waking up to go to actually do some real work. So we've partnered with co-working spaces that are really nice environments for you to be working in with your classmates and your instructor. They also have the benefit of showing you a little bit what the local community around software development is like, because usually we select co-working spaces that host independent consultants that work in software development, or that actually host software development groups. So that's another way to start to plug you in the local community. And again, it ensures you have just a nice environment to be working on a Saturday morning. I also want to mention that a lot of those locations are true partners. They really share with us our social mission of making coding more affordable. And so they give us attractive prices, which is how we are able to offer you a really affordable tuition. And then finally, the key ingredient and the sort of key success factor for you and for this model are our instructors. We have awesome instructors. They're active industry practitioners. They're plugged into the industry. So either they are already working as full-time software developers, or they are independent consultants that are actually freelancing and doing work for customers. But they're pretty active in the industry. They're not, from an academic background, they're not just professional teachers, which means that you will be learning very practical skills. That's a really important part of our program. They're passionate and they want to give back. That's absolutely, common theme across all of our instructors. We actually make sure to select them that way. We compensate them, of course, but quite frankly, the compensation is not attractive enough to really steal them from high pay work. So if they're doing this with Nucamp, it's because they love coding. They want to share, their passion for coding with others. And they're excited to do it in a structure that they believe, has a greater impact than perhaps doing that on their own. And they're local, so they're plugged in your community. That's a really important point too. We have a lot of stories of instructors and students that go on to, work together, connect together, be part of technology or software development groups together in the community. That's another important aspect of our model. Very, very rich and diverse background. It's people coming from all sorts of walks of life. People that have gone through college, had a great education, awesome jobs, and want to give back. Others that actually have struggled through different career paths, finally fell into software development through a boot camp, succeeded after that, and really wanted to share, their experience, but also help others get to that or through that journey faster than they have. So a lot of backgrounds, a lot of rich experiences. And so if you're a student, you're going to go through 4 to 5 classes as part of the advanced bootcamp, and you're going to be interacting with 4 or 5 different instructors. And so you'll get also that richness of experience, but also, a hint into what kind of career paths you can be contemplating going forward. So what's not on this slide is that with this sort of, a background of instructors, we find, or our students tell us, that oftentimes the instructors are the best mentors as they start to look for jobs. They're connected, they're plugged into the industry. They have personal stories to share that are very helpful for students that want to get into software development. And, though it's not in their Nucamp contract, they're a really invaluable mentor resource to our students. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ludo to tell you a little bit more about the curriculum.
Thank you. So Karim presented to you a slide earlier in the presentation that really showed the 3 boot camps. Think about those 3 boot camps, 3 different boot camps, as really a collection of 5 different modules. I see a question in here, I think from Patricia, regarding taking the front end before taking the back end. Well, there's actually an answer to that question, Patricia, in the way that front end is included in Fullstack, as you can see here. But let me actually start from the beginning. So if you're a beginner in web development, you will want to get the fundamentals of web development, which are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And that's our 4 weeks bootcamp. That's the intro right here. Moving on to that, you will actually either want to select front-end or full stack based on your ability to produce quality experiences or your ability and interest in producing a full stack experience, including the server side. Now, let me actually walk you through those different modules. And let me start by saying that there's one common denominator in all those modules, and it's JavaScript. Our 3 bootcamps are teaching JavaScript and all the various frameworks around JavaScript. The great news about JavaScript is it's one language that really helps you do everything that will be needed to build a web application or a mobile application or build something on the server side. So that's why we've selected that. And JavaScript for the last 5 years has been ranked #1 language in web development. So that's another reason why we've selected JavaScript. Now, if you look at Bootstrap, the very first module, what Bootstrap does is very much allowing you to create beautiful web experiences that will be quote unquote responsive. Now, what do we mean by responsive? Well, we mean that you will be building a website that will look really great on a big TV screen, but then will adapt to other screen dimensions. So it will look great as well on a laptop, but then it will look great on a tablet, and it will again look great on a mobile device like a phone. Bootstrap is the very first library developed by Twitter, by the way, that really allows you to write your code once and make it work, as I indicated, on all those screen dimensions. It's a great entry into learning JavaScript. It has obviously limitations, which are, it's really only dealing with the user experience, with the look and feel of the website. What it doesn't do is helps you gather data from your database, or present a shopping cart, or allow a user to log in or answer a form. And that's why then we switch to React. React is the most comprehensive JavaScript framework that has been developed by Facebook 3 years ago. And really it's complementing, what Bootstrap does. It's actually using Bootstrap for the user experience. But what it brings is that dynamic aspect of reaching out to your data that may be on the server, allowing your users to log into your website, managing a catalog of products, and doing all sorts of processes that will really make your website useful and helpful, especially if you want to build a commercial website, for example. So with React, you will know, and with Bootstrap, how to build a responsive website and how to make also that website dynamic. Now, here comes the magic in React Native. And I say magic because all of a sudden, you're going to be able to take your work that was about producing a dynamic website and package it in a way that you're not going to release that website as a mobile app onto the Apple Store or Google Play Store. You heard me right. You're taking your website and in a way, in a magic zip file, which is called an APK file, for example, on Android, you're going to really produce an app that's going to look and behave like an app on a mobile device. And when you do that, actually, the world of possibilities is expanding, because all of a sudden, you have access to the device capabilities. And so think about that. You have access to real-time location, GPS, gyrometer. You have access to being able to place a phone call, to the camera, and everything that your device really is bringing together, your website, which now turned into an app, has also access to. So that's really the magic of React Native. If you've decided to register for frontend, you will stop there, and you will have actually really gone through everything you need to know in order to build a website and a mobile app. Now, if you want to move on to Fullstack, we'll teach you how to really store and handle all the backend processes. That data that you're going to retrieve, that catalog of product, has to live somewhere, and it's going to be in a database. We're going to teach you MongoDB as a database, and you're going to have server processes that are going to fetch the data, update the data. Authentication is one aspect of it. When your users authenticate or logs into your website, you're going to have to actually log them into your server side as well. So that's the last module of Fullstack. And with that, really, you will have completed, if you start from the beginner's bootcamp up to the end, it's a total of 26 weeks. And you will be really ready at that point in time to seek a job in the industry. Now, let me tell you about what's going to help you actually get a job as well in the industry and really supplement your learning. And it's building what we call the portfolio projects. Throughout the curriculum, you're going to have one, what we call learning project, that every student is using to learn the techniques. We're very proud about how our bootcamps are structured in a way that every week on that Saturday morning, you're going to add depth and meaning to your learning project. So you're going to go very much in depth in all the technologies that I shared with you. But that's not going to be enough. You're going to want to work on your own portfolio project. That's going to follow the curriculum as well. And by working on your own portfolio project in group or solo, you will really challenge yourself to further your understanding of the technologies. And so you'll have either actually 1 or 2 or 3 different portfolio projects, depending on where you are in the curriculum. You're going to start with Bootstrap. You'll have actually your first portfolio project in Bootstrap. Then you're going to upgrade it to React. Then optionally, you may want to either continue to improve it with React or add the React native component to it, meaning you're going to then suddenly turn your portfolio project into a mobile app. And then last, if you're part of Fullstack, you'll add the backend data to your portfolio project. And that's going to be super important for you to actually engage with potential recruiters, with hiring managers. Being able to talk about your portfolio project is really what's going to resonate with the company and the hiring manager who is seeking someone of experience. Now let's talk about the schedule. Karim mentioned that we started on September 9th, our second cohort throughout the US, outside of Washington. That was for the web development fundamentals. You are still within the early bird period to register for both front-end and full stack. That means that until next Monday, you have an automatic discount of 15% of the price. If you register past Monday, the price point for, let's say, full stack will go up to $1,905. Now, at the end of this presentation, we'll actually have a discount code for you just to thank you for showing up and your interest in Nucamp. So you'll be able to have a small discount on that. After that, on October 14th, we have another Web Development Fundamentals Bootcamp starting, followed again by front-end and full stack. There's always a week break between the end of our Web Development Fundamentals and the starting of the full stack of front-end bootcamp, so that you can always continue on if you've registered first to a Web Development Fundamentals. Okay, we talked a lot, and we thought it would be great that you hear from our students instead of us. So we're going to share that short video. In the meantime, I also encourage you to go check out Course Report. Our rating actually went up to 4.91, and we've actually doubled the number of reviews since we produced that slide. So check them out and really look at those customer reviews as a way to make your decision. Let's also roll the video, and then we're going to be back answering all your questions live after that. All right, hold on.
I wanted to look at a career opportunity that would be lucrative. And Nucamp kind of popped up, and I liked it a lot more than the other ones. I liked that it was more flexible. I didn't have to quit my current job.
They're basically very student-friendly.
And our instructor is awesome, Minay, and she's just really helpful, really above and beyond.
She's very helpful, and every time when I have a question, I can ask her and she can respond. The careers basically has no end. You can grow and grow.
I was really excited. Yeah, in fact, I mean, if anything, I was wanting to do more.
But I really like the way it's been this hybrid learning process.
I love that. I love that it's during the week, because I wouldn't have been able to do it if I had to meet every single day. So I love that I can find childcare on Saturdays, and the rest of the week it's online. But yeah, sometimes I'm doing my homework and I get all excited. I'm like, this could be my life. So it's kind of cool.
And we're back. All right, I hope that was insightful. So we're ready to answer your questions at this time. I mentioned earlier that we had a coupon code for you. Write down the coupon code. It's 8MJAL. and it's going to give you a 10% discount off your first payment for full stack or front end. It's really for the next delivery that starts on October 7th. So that coupon code will expire on October 7th. So use it. You can use it today. You can use it later if you've missed the early bird discount. That's going to help you kind of catch up.
But you got to be one of the first 10 to use it.
That's right.
Jump on it if you've decided to register. Jump on it. Take advantage both of the early bird discount and the additional 10% on the first payment.
All right, so we're looking at your chat now, and we're going to go in order and answer any question that you have. And please continue to ask your questions.
Yeah, so I'll take the first one. Nitro. I'm going to call you Nitro. I don't know if that's your real name, but that's the name you go by here. So you have your bootcamp basically rolled already twice. I actually checked. So you're not actually registered, but you've expressed interest. You're following the bootcamp. And you see that we didn't have it in August, we didn't have it in September, and now the next available date is in October. So what happens is we basically start classes if there's enough demand in a community. And the reality is there are some communities are either smaller or there's a little less interest, and so there's just not enough students registered or people interested for us to start the class. Again, we have a strong social mission. We want to bring Nucamp everywhere. The reality is we also need to be viable from a cost perspective. So we've brought down the minimum number of students to the bare minimum to cover our costs, but we do need to have anywhere between 4 to 6 students to be able to have a class. And that's already a very small class. So I understand the disappointment, but unfortunately, it's really hard for us to start a class with less than just 4 to 6 students. It's also not a great experience for the student. That's the other piece of it. You want to be in a small group, so you feel part of that momentum. You can help each other. You can work in projects together. So really, what I suggest there, if you're in a community and you're seeing that the level of interest overall is not high enough just yet, perhaps with time and a bit more advertising as well on our part, we'll be able to build momentum. But if it's not there right now and you want to start now, consider doing this in a remote workshop format. It's a very similar format. It's not a traditional online class. It's the exact same curriculum and format as our sort of local in-person experience, except on Saturday mornings, you are in video conference with your instructor. So you still have a real instructor. He's supporting, or she is supporting you during the week. And then on the weekend, you're in video conference with your instructor. We already have several classes that have run on that format, so we've got good experience with it. We staff those particular online experiences with experienced instructors that have already delivered classes. So you're actually guaranteed to have, probably our best instructors. And you're still going to be grouped with whoever is in your community. So you're going to be able to network locally and keep that sort of local angle. And again, it allows you to get started if you can, fortunately, it looks like you're not going to have something happening in your community just yet. So, I checked out Port St. Lucie, and I don't think it's going to happen in October, just to be fair to you. We like to be transparent. So maybe that's something to consider.
And it's still 12, maximum of 12 students per cohort, it's not because it's online that the ratio is going to go up. We're still doing one instructor per maximum 12 students.
All right, the next question we have, we have take front end before back end? We talked a little bit about that earlier. I just want to maybe highlight one thing. If you're not sure, you can go and take the front end course, and then you have an upgrade option when you come to the end and you have a better understanding of whether you want to continue or not. You can do that.
That's right.
Mac or PC?
Either one will work. What we recommend not bringing is a Chromebook. There's some issues installing a code editor on the Chromebook. So Mac or PC will work.
Yeah, and for Mac, any Mac will work. For PC, you need to have a medium level, or very recent entry level machine, and you can check our Q&A for some basic specs
Yeah.
for that. Is it safe to pay the tuition online?
I'll take that one. So it is, and let me explain why. We are partnering with the #1 financial institution called Stripe to process the payments. It's a financial institution that actually makes it able for us to not store your credit card information in our database. So we actually don't know your credit card information ourselves. When you type it in on a form, you're actually indicating Stripe, which is, again, #1 financial institution on the web, to charge the credit card, and it's stored in their servers. So it's like sharing your credit card information with a bank, a reputable bank. Again, we do not store your credit card information in our server at all. So that's, yeah, it makes it super safe. And I will say as well, not only is it safe to pay the tuition online, but you then have access to self-service option to get a refund as well. So if you want to drop out, if you actually can't make it anymore, you just go online to your profile, click change, cancel, and the refund is automatic. So there's not going to be someone on our end trying to convince you to not cancel or anything like that. You can just trust that it's going to happen.
Next one is, do we have a cohort available in Cleveland, in Ohio? Right now, we are under a licensing process in Ohio, which is why we have had to take our pages out for Ohio. So we hope to be able to offer our boot camps soon, but we first need to get approval for this, which is why we're currently not serving Cleveland, and we apologize for that.
John,
take this one?
Yeah. So John, how mandatory are the Saturday meetings? And you may have some issues with your work schedule. So what's mandatory is the production of the assignment. So every week, every Saturday, you will work on an assignment with your instructor and the other students. And that assignment is going to be graded. So that's really, truly the mandatory part. It can happen for students to miss 1 or 2 workshops over a period of 22 weeks, for example. And our requirement there is it's okay as long as you work on the assignment on your own, publish it so that it can be graded. But let me say, the big value that we offer is in that structure. It's really those 4 hours being able to meet either in person or remotely with your instructor, with other students. And so if you're not sure that you're going to be able to benefit from that, you really have to think about it and make plans around it. So it's not mandatory. It's really, really, really strongly encouraged. If you miss 1 or 2, it could be fine. But really think about maybe managing your time in a way that you will take full advantage of what we think is the #1 benefit that Nucamp can offer you.
Yeah, I think, again, if it really doesn't work, again, one other alternative is to look at one of the remote workshops option, because they are actually on different time zones. So that might work a little bit better with your schedule, starting earlier or later, depending on what your situation is.
Yeah, great point.
Is there a payment plan? Yes. So by default, all our advanced boot camps, so the front end and the full stack, are on a payment plan. So you have a first payment of around $320. It's a little more, a little less, depending on the boot camp. And then your second payment is at the start of the boot camp on the first day of the first class. And then after that, it is monthly. So it is spread out to make it easier, obviously for everyone.
Oh, I went fast. Is there one? Where is it now? Oops. Sultan is asking, is there one in Nashville, Tennessee, and is there assistant on job search and resume? Yes, there is one in Nashville, Tennessee. Check it out. Look up Nashville on our website. For the students enrolled in front-end and full stack, they are also enrolled near the end of completing the bootcamp in a career development program. It's a 6 weeks online program that's helping with the basics of building your resume, building your LinkedIn profile, preparing for interviews, how to think about networking. Networking is super important to get a job in the industry. We also mentioned that we hear a lot of our students indicating that their local instructors were really insightful and helpful in preparing for a job search. You also have access to our alumni groups on LinkedIn. You also have lifetime access to our overall community on Slack. So these are all the tools that we give you at the end of the bootcamp, and actually a month before the end of the bootcamp, to get ready for your job search. I'll take this one from Alan again. Does the Fullstack bootcamp start with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or does it skip it completely? It does not cover the fundamentals, definitely. So you will want to make sure that you have the fundamentals. We have a test out there that can help you define that. It's url.nucamp.co/test yourself. You'll find the link on the FAQ. What it does, though, what Fullstack does, it goes very deep into JavaScript, obviously. So it does cover JavaScript, but I will say more from an advanced standpoint than really teaching the fundamentals. So we recommend that you take the web development fundamentals first if you're not sure, or if you know you are a beginner and you need to gain that fundamental knowledge.
All right, looking at the maybe putting up the schedule again, we can do that for sure.
Yeah,
that's easy enough. So again, what's coming up is the front end and full stack boot camps, which are starting on October 7th, and then we have the web fundamentals coming up on October 14th.
And that schedule is valid for everywhere but Washington. Washington is on a slightly different schedule. Yeah. You can find your community schedule online.
Yeah. Yeah, Nitro, I see you're already paid. So if you wouldn't mind just shooting us an email at info@nucamp.co, just to clarify on what bootcamp, because I want to make sure we have you there and there's no sort of confusion there. And I see Joshua as well. So if there's any doubt there on what bootcamp you're registered to, shoot us an email. We'll be looking at that just after the session.
And I think that was related to the coupon code.
Okay.
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll look into it.
And then Alan, the coupon is actually for the full stack or front end. Web development fundamentals is actually already very attractively priced at only $320 for the 4 weeks. So hard for us to do much more there. Let's see. Okay, so how much is the full stack again? So full stack full price is $19.05.
Yeah.
And early bird price is $16.20, and you can take another 10% off the first payment of that using the coupon today. Laptop requirements. So I just checked them. If you're going to buy a new laptop, we recommend you make sure it's an i5 processor. It's got 80 gigabytes of RAM, and it's running with an SSD. A solid state disk. But if you already have one, worst case, just send us the specs and we'll tell you if it's good to go. Yes, we have a class in Sacramento. So again, for sort of community specific classes, encourage you to go to the website, go to my community. If you're landing on the wrong page, it's not where you really want to look at the bootcamp. Click on change community and enter your zip code or your city, and you'll land on the city where you want to register. And you'll have some really interesting information there. You'll see things such as the average salaries in that particular town for software development. You'll also see what are the workshop locations we're considering. Either they're already secured or we are in discussion or we're considering those locations, but it'll give you a feel for the kind of places where our workshops, will take place. You'll also see some of the instructors that are either already hired or are being screened. So the screened ones are actually labeled potential instructor, because we want to be, again, transparent on who's actually hired and who's still in the process. But again, it gives you a feel for the diversity of the instructors, their background, and you'll also see some info on our partners. or on some of the technology groups in that particular city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you're asking, is 40 years old too late to code? So I'm over 40, and
way over 40.
Oh, come on. And granted, I started to code in my 20s, but I stopped for over 20 years. I didn't code until actually 2 years ago. And I'm still cranking it and loving it. So I will say, no, it's not too old to learn to code. We actually have plenty of students in our courses that are way over 40, way over 50. We actually have people that are retired and just are very curious about this whole coding thing and joining us as well. So yeah, it's never too late to code as long as you enjoy it. And that's actually something we tell our students. As long as you enjoy it, it's not too late.
And I mean, it's kind of hard to know before you actually try it. So that is why we designed this separate sort of 4-week program for people who have no idea or haven't been exposed to coding to try it and find out if it's for them. We don't want people to be committing to something long-term and more costly before they have appreciation for it. And it really boils down to do you like building things? Are you curious? When you get stuck by something, that you can't make work, is your reaction to get really frustrated and drop it, or on the contrary, you're getting excited about how to find a solution? So it's more a state of mind sort of aspect than being gifted in math or having particular abilities. So again, a good way to find out is to go through this introductory program, or quite frankly, if you want to do just a little bit of exploration work online, that's a good way as well.
Let me jump to Alan, who apparently didn't hear our answer regarding payment plan. Yes, we do have a payment plan. It's over 4 or 5 months, and it's approximately $320 a month. So I hope that was just in time for your lunch break. Sabrina is asking about the schedule over the holidays. Actually, we just checked that recently because our students were wondering as well. The good news is the schedule actually works well regarding Christmas, New Year's. Those actually dates fall in the middle of the week, but you will still be expected to learn during those weeks. So if you look at the schedule, those front-end and full stack, we have expectation that you will learn during the week of Christmas and during the week of New Year's Eve, but nothing falling on a Saturday or Sunday, anything like that.
Yeah, and again, for some people it actually works better, for some it doesn't. So the part of our model is there's a start every 5 weeks, so you can actually make it work. If you don't want to be studying during that period, you can start after that if you prefer.
And Mary Jane is actually one of our students right now. Great to see you here as well, Mary Jane, and hope to see you in the full stack of front end indeed.
Right.
Okay, so do you see? Yes. So Subham, you're asking about Tacoma. So Tacoma is one of actually the very first bootcamp we opened in the state of Washington, and we have a very vibrant community there. And I'm almost certain that we will be able to start in October. Yeah,
I can confirm that. We already have 3 people registered, and we have many more interested.
61, yeah.
So we should be good to go for Tacoma. There's a little trick here we can give you for you to find out. If you go on the webpage and you click on the bootcamp from that scheduling screen that you see right now, and open up the registration page, you'll see little avatars, and if they are circled with a solid blue line, that means it's a registration. If it's a dashed blue circle, it's somebody that's interested. And so that way you can get a sense for how many students have already registered, how many more are actually following that particular bootcamp.
Okay, what type of PC is acceptable? So yeah, if you buy it today, it will be around $500. The specs, more precisely, are Intel i5 processor, 8 gigabit of RAM, preferably an SSD hard drive, and that will be just enough. So if you buy it today, around the 500 mark will be good enough.
Yeah. So if there aren't enough people in my city, can I transfer to a different city even after I've paid? Yes, absolutely. You can do that. You can do that actually at no cost, even before it starts. If it's after the start and it's for various reasons, shoot us an email. We'll work through it.
I'm typing the email now.
Yeah.
It's info@nucamp.co.
Yeah. So that's for the email, Nitro. And so October 7th cohort, it depends where, Luis, depends. Again, we are definitely going to start in a number of communities, but again, it'll be based on how many students. And we have over right now 170 communities where we're offering to start.
I would say to that, we will always be starting on October 7th with the remote workshop option.
Yeah.
So if you're really set in starting at those dates, but unfortunately, maybe it doesn't happen in your local community because we don't have enough students there, then you can opt to join for the same price, the same time, the remote workshop option, and you will start on October 7th.
So let me maybe jump in here and just explain also, the process for registration. So you can register now, at any boot camp with virtually no risk, because either it will start and we're all good, and you're all good, or it doesn't, in which case you automatically receive an email that will give you several options. The first default option is you're rolled over the next starting boot camp 5 weeks later. If this doesn't work for you for some reason, you can actually immediately cancel and get fully refunded. And so again, it's a click of a button, no interaction with anyone on the phone or online. Just go to your profile, say, this doesn't work for me. I don't want to be rolled over 5 weeks, cancel, and you get fully refunded. And then the third option that you have available is to transfer to a remote workshop option. So, if you still want to go through the program and you're okay with doing that via video conference with your instructor, then that's an option available. So there's, and again, don't forget the first payment will only be of $320 approximately, which takes me to the next one. The 10% coupon is on the first payment. We'd love to be offering this on the complete package, but that would be too much for us, not sustainable. But we're offering 10% on the first payment, in addition to the 20%, the 15% that you have as an early bird, which actually applies on the full tuition.
How to apply, Sultan? Well, you go online, click register, and we accept credit and debit cards, and you will be registered. So it's that simple.
Yeah, so then I think we covered this earlier, but I'm just going to go through it real quick. Yes, we have several things in place to help you find a job. Number one, a sort of career sort of support program that's online. It's a 6-week program. You can cover it in less, and it goes through how to network, how to build your resume, how to work through LinkedIn, how to prepare for interviews. So it's pretty comprehensive and gets you, prepared for your first interviews. We also, have a 1-month subscription to LinkedIn Premium that helps you get started with just how to look for opportunities on LinkedIn. We have our alumni group that's now in place that will help you also network with people that, are like you, have graduated. And then informally, we have our instructors that are plugged in the local community that can give you pointers to job fairs, to particular contacts in companies if they're with those companies, meetups that are around self-development and things like that. And then finally, the thing I want to sort of mention is, at the end of the day, when you're interviewing in this industry, it's a lot about your skills. So really your success factor in finding a job is going through the program, acquiring the skills, building your portfolio. The interview will actually include demonstrating your work, showing your work. So that's important. That's why it's important to spend time on your portfolio, building it up so you can actually showcase it. And a lot of our students actually go on to continue to build their portfolio even after the end of the boot camp to do just that.
Michelle, you're asking about showing an example of some of the coursework. 2 answers to that. The first one is a great way actually to have some insights into our coursework is to actually register for the 4 weeks bootcamp. You'll have a full experience of our bootcamp. You'll see how the week structure works. You'll see how the workshop works. And so that's the first way of doing it. A second way of doing it, which is more of a proxy, is if you look up Nucamp on GitHub, you'll see all our students' projects right there. So just type in Nucamp on GitHub, and you'll see what students are working on. It's not exactly the coursework, but you can have a good idea of what students are building while in our bootcamps.
But Michelle, actually, it's a really good question. If you don't mind shooting us an email, I'd like to follow up on this. I think we can probably come up with something, a short video or something that will be helpful to you and perhaps to others as well. So appreciate the question.
Anthony, I'm just scrolling at the bottom. Will this call be recorded? Yes, it's live YouTube, so it's automatically recorded. And if you go to this URL, the one that you're seeing right now, you'll be able to watch the recordings later on.
All right, and then so do you have a satisfaction guarantee? So yes, what we offer is if at any point you're not satisfied with the program, and by the way, it's not just satisfaction, is if for some other external reason you want to stop the program because life events, things happen, family, you got something going on at work, there's a number of things you can do. You can stop immediately and basically cancel the rest of the program, and you can check our refund policy, but basically you don't have to pay anything in the future. So what you've already paid is paid. And then any future payments are canceled because again, we understand that sometimes things happen outside of your control. If you're really unhappy, then talk to us, because first we want to understand why you're not part of those students that rate us 4.9, and so we take your feedback very seriously, and then we can work something out if indeed it wasn't up to your expectations. And then the other thing is also, if for some reason you need to stop or pause the program, we also give you that option to postpone to a future date, because again, you might have something going on, in which case there's a moderate fee of $100 to postpone, and that happens only once. So we're trying to make it easy for you. We try to be as fair as possible for you.
Sabrina, your question is, are the instructors available during the week via Zoom or similar, or only during the Saturday workshops? They are available during the week, absolutely. They are available online using Slack. So it's a community-based chatter. I will actually build on top of your question to really explain to you the level of support that you get during the week. So you have support within your group. So the 12 other students, your instructor, you can reach out directly to your instructor. You can reach out to the other 12 students. And the expectation from the instructor, given that most of the time that person is busy with a full-time job, is to get back to you under 4 hours. Now, very often it's much more immediate, but that's really the service level agreement, I would say, we have with him or her. But beyond that, you are also part of the broader Nucamp community. And what that means is, if you ask your question on Slack, you actually have a high chance of getting an opportunity to be helped by someone else in another community or another instructor in another community. And that's really the power of being with the people locally, but also being part of something greater and broader that gives you a chance to network even further and really get even more support than if it was just you and your instructor and 12 other students.
Okay, so Chris here wants an answer on San Diego. So quick answer is yes, absolutely. We have instructors in place, several actually that are ready to teach, and we do have a location that is secured. So we're ready to go. It's just a matter of how many students we will have on the upcoming class, and so we'll see how that builds up over the next week or so. Let's see, rate of getting a job for this boot camp. So that's really important question. That's something that's actually pretty hard to track. We've done that on our, on our first cohorts. We're still trying to get sort of precise numbers because again, it involves chasing people, understanding where they are. Also, the other thing that's specific about our boot camp is that people are already working. So a lot of people actually go through the boot camp and then sort of continue in their current job until they find something else, which is a little different from sort of the placement rates that traditional boot camps focus on, because everybody's looking for the job as they just exit the boot camp. So long story short, we have a number of good examples of people who have found a job, but we don't have very precise statistics. I actually encourage you to check out one of our recent videos of Aaron, who went through the boot camp, graduated, and now is working in Tacoma. More recently, we have other students that have just landed jobs out of our boot camp, and so we'll be posting that as well.
Follow-up question from Chris. Yes, October 7th is ready to go, to your point, if enough students sign up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lawrence, you have a question regarding the October 7th Fullstack in Detroit. So, gotcha. So you have access to the bootcamp and everything you need to have access to the Monday the bootcamp starts. So when we say, actually, if you look at the slide up there, when we say Fullstack starts on October 7th, it is indeed when you receive everything you need to receive on October 7th to get started. And so the very first 5 days from Monday through Saturday is to prepare you for the Saturday workshop. So, yeah.
All right, so Michelle has a question around, already know SQL and HTML, how essentially starting at fundamentals. There's actually a test you can use to see if you're prepared enough to jump into front end and full stack. You can go to our Q&A and you'll have the URL there. Take the test. If you score more than 85%, then you're ready to go. And by the way, if you don't score 85%, but you feel that it's just some aspects or some questions or some area, you can work on that online on your own if you're proficient enough and get up to speed to be ready to front end. You don't necessarily need to go to our web fundamentals if it's just a few things you need to catch up on.
Anthony, your question about the coupon code. This coupon is valid only for this coming full stack and front end. So it expires
on October 7th.
On October 7th.
All right. Have we missed any other questions here? Let's see.
A great question from Luis. Have graduates only received junior dev jobs? So, no. However, we recommend our graduates to seek junior dev jobs. And so the reason why I'm saying no is because we receive a diverse audience in terms of students. So some students come to us with already a computer science degree. It's not the majority, but that happens. And some students come to us with actually 15 years of experience in the IT industry and want to really learn coding because they were just not coders before. Those individuals are actually the ones who may not seek junior web development position and actually aspire and receive more senior positions. That's not the rule. That's more of a unique situation, I would say. We recommend to our students that they seek junior web development positions because that's the most realistic way to get into the industry. After a 22 weeks bootcamp, you will probably not find a job at Amazon or Microsoft or Facebook or Google as a software engineer. You will need to show your worth by starting as a junior person, doing the web development work. Sometimes actually you will do QA work before doing development work. So you have to be ready for that. Now the starting salaries are still pretty good, pretty decent, and we show them on our website. But we want to be fair to you, and we want to really equip you with what will be the best opportunity that you will find, that you will get to get a job. So, yeah, I hope that helps.
Yeah, and I think maybe to add to that, you have to realize that Microsoft recruits some juniors, but they all have computer science degrees. They've studied for 4 years, so that's kind of curriculum that they're expecting. or they're recruiting people that have already 3-4 years of coding experience at the minimum, and that really have sort of more advanced skills. So you can get there, but you'll get there gradually. When you start in a junior development position for a smaller firm, or even as an independent consultant, it's really the starting of your new career, right? It's not the end of it. And so you're going to continue to build skills. What's specific about software development is you learn all the time, you progress all the time. And so 3-4 years down the road, there's nothing stopping you definitely from applying to more senior positions in those companies. But again, we want to be setting the right expectations as you enter the boot camp.
We're actually at the top of the hour now. It went very fast. Thank you for all your questions. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to use the coupon code to register for the coming front-end full stack or the web development fundamentals bootcamp starting on October 14th.
And then if you have more questions, just again, shoot us an email at info@nucamp.co. We're pretty reactive. We take all those inquiries seriously.
Or online, the chat window.
Or online, the chat window, both work, and we'll get back to you. So, hey, thanks a lot for attending today. We appreciate you taking time in your schedule to be here with us. Thank you for your interest and your many good questions. And then lastly, again, this session is recorded, and there's also a Q&A on the website if you want to take a look at that. So with that, thanks everyone, and you have a great day.
Thank you.